podcast that covers all things sports. I'm your host, Michael Rachel. And the man behind the other camera is Jack, the stat man. Hi.
What's up, Mike? How are you doing?
Good, I'm doing well. Mm-hmm. And to my left, the usual, the one and only, Arhum, Wade County, Malik. Let's before we start, actually, like, subscribe, right down below here. And then follow us on Twitter at Beyond Debatable. We'll be tweeting starting tomorrow about the NBA playoffs and what's going on, and you'll get our reaction live. All right, so let's head out west. Spurs Warriors, which any other year but this year would be quite the amazing first round matchup. But instead, Kawhi is nowhere to be found, missing in action, and the Warriors have cruised to a 2-0 series lead. So, Jack, being the 2 seed and not having the best regular season compared to the years of past, still a 2 seed in the West, but given what they've done in the past, not their best year regular season-wise, is this Warriors team, dare I say, underrated?
It's gotten to that point, yeah. It really has. I think we're so desperate to create this rival of theirs that we've kind of oversold the Rockets as their usurper. Oh, geez. And we haven't exactly given Golden State its fair share. First of all, Golden State did not try in the regular season, okay? This is a team that canceled practice after Steph's 30th birthday party. Very obvious reasons. And also, they weren't even that bad. They were first in offensive efficiency and 8th in defensive efficiency, despite the fact that they had a ton of people injured all year, and they didn't care. Like, that's very impressive to me. It's not impressive in the sense that they didn't try. That's really kind of annoying. But, you know, that the fact that they didn't try and they still did so well is pretty good. What I wanted to see in this series, though, is how they played without Curry, because Curry is, to them, in my opinion, their most important player in terms of their identity as a team. When he's running around off ball, when he's creating space, cutting, screening for people, when he's in the pick and roll, he attracts so much attention and so much gravity. It's amazing how smart he is in leveraging that to open up space for his teammates, and how well he can score in so many different ways. And while I don't think he's as effective in the playoffs as he is in the regular season, it's clear their offense looks different when he's out there and when he's not. And I wanted to see what the Warriors did. And one of the things that they did do is in game 1, they completely switched up their starting lineup. They got rid of their point guard, Quinn Cook, and put in Andre Iguodala instead, and just turned their lineup into a defensive Hydra type thing where you have a bunch of long 6'7+ guys, and San Antonio hasn't had an answer because they don't have enough shooting and talent to deal with that. And I like the adjustment. The Warriors have kind of turned into a defensive monster when Curry's been out, just throwing a bunch of giant guys on the floor who can move and who are smart. And once Curry gets back, they now have a plan B when Curry does go out of the game, which they used to never have. They used to hemorrhage points whenever Curry sat on the bench. So, I don't know. I think this is a really good sign for them.
I think it is too. Do you think they're underrated?
What?
You think the Warriors are underrated?
Oh, yeah, I think they're underrated. For some reason, it's almost like I think people have Houston as a favorite, and that's crazy to me. A quick thing on the Spurs, though, they're getting steamrolled, but a lot of props like Greg Popovich. Like, he won championships, but this may be one of his biggest feats to get this garbage team to the playoffs. So yeah,
that's fair. Wow.
But yeah, I do think that they're incredibly overrated.
So underrated.
Oh yeah, underrated.
Okay. Jack, you touched on it. I was actually going to bring that point up, but you did. I think the Rockets are being hyped up to be that rival, but they're not. They're a great regular season team. They have been in the past. Come playoffs, you just don't know what's going to happen with them. 538. Touched on a different podcast. It's an analytical website. If you haven't checked it out, very highly respected.
Just parted ways with ESPN.
What's that? Yes, they did. Fun fact. They have the Rockets with a 59% chance to make the finals and a 45% chance to win it all. The second highest team to win the title is 19%, and that's Toronto. The Warriors have just a 14% chance to make the finals and an 8% chance to win the entire thing.
This is still a team that won. Well, first of all, it won the championship 3 years ago. The year after that, they won 73 games.
Should have won the championship.
They should have. But even if they did, it went last second in Game 7, and then they didn't win.
And they were already up 3-1.
They were up 3-1.
So really,
then they added Kevin Durant, and
they won.
And then they won another championship.
What have they lost from last year?
What
have they really lost from last year?
Have they lost anything?
So they're saying,
if anything, they got
right. So 538 is literally telling me that the Curry injury right now decreases their chance to win by like 20%.
But Curry will be back.
Exactly.
And even if Curry isn't back, I still think that the Warriors have a chance to beat Houston.
It's definitely higher than 8%. Yeah. And how do the Rockets, just to get to the final is over a coin flip, 59%. And to win the title is basically a coin flip.
Even if they get to the finals, I don't think there's a for sure that they would.
It's not for sure.
Toronto or Cleveland.
It's definitely not a for sure.
This is a really good example of when stats fail, because stats in and of themselves cannot tell us that the Warriors aren't trying. Like, they can't tell when the Warriors are trying or not. They just think this is what the Warriors are this regular season. When literally they could not give a shit. They just don't care. All they want to do is get in the playoffs. They just let Houston take the 1 seed. They were like, here you go.
So you think that's a product of why 538 has what it has?
Wait, what was that?
So you think, so they didn't try, so the stats obviously show them a lot worse than they are. So you think that's why 538...
So you don't think 538 takes into account taking games off and stuff?
They just purely...
Because they just go stats.
What do you mean by 538? Because the people there that, analyze the stats, I guarantee they would add that disclaimer. I don't think any of that...
That's what he's asking. He's wondering if they take into account...
No, so they probably have an equation, right, that they do?
Yeah, they do.
And that only looks at stats, right?
He's wondering if they take into account them not trying as hard as they usually
so
do.
Is there any kind of human added,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's... in my opinion, that's almost impossible to quantify, right? Like, how can you really tell how hard a team is working? We all know that they're not trying that. They didn't try that hard. But, I mean, we're talking about a computer system here. Like, you can't numerically put a value on not trying hard.
I'm not saying that you can, but I'm asking, is it completely just stats that they look at? Yeah.
Mostly. They aggregate a bunch of different factors put together. They call it Carmelo ratings.
Mm-hmm.
That's a conversation that we don't need to have. But
all right, so Jack, underrated?
Yeah, definitely.
Arhum?
Underrated.
Underrated as well. Okay. So we're not going to really talk about this series. Let's quickly go through our predictions. Golden State 4 or 5. Anybody have different?
I have them in 4.
We all have sweep then. Okay. So let's just not even talk about that series.
I'll have them in 5.
Okay, well, 4 or 5. So let's not even talk about that series. I want to talk about if you could have one guy healthy and the other one injured, which one would you rather have fully healthy? Curry or Durant? Arm, go.
Now, obviously, you would not want to lose either.
Correct.
But I don't think this is as close as people actually would probably make it out to be. I think it's Steph Curry, and it's handedly. You would want to have Steph Curry.
Healthy.
Yeah, healthy. Handedly over Kevin Durant. And my reason is this is going to come off crazy, but it almost seems like Steph Curry has become probably one of the most underrated players in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like how people just forgot that 2 years ago, he had probably one of the best seasons that I've ever seen in my life. He averaged 30 points. He averaged over 30 points a game, but he shot over 50% from the field as a point guard who shoots threes. And not only does he shoot threes, he shoots heavily contested and very deep threes. As soon as that year was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Every time he crossed half court, he was a threat. And he would launch such deep threes.
And he'd hit.
and he shot 45% from three, and that year,
including those bombs.
Yeah, he was the only unanimous MVP as well. But I just think that he causes such a he creates the defense is the game plan so much for him and account for him. That he's definitely the most important.
I agree, Jack. I'm gonna quickly touch on this in case you have a Durant argument or Curry, whatever. I'm with Arhum on this. And Jack, you actually touched this earlier when you were talking about it. How Curry he draws so much attention that he gets teammates open without even doing anything. Like Arhum said, across half court, they draw attention to him, blows right by that guy. All of a sudden, here comes the help defense, kick out to Clay in the corner, three, boom, we're running back down on defense. He's such a special talent that plays at a different, quickness almost, but not like speed. It's weird. It's just like
he's the craziest
mentality.
Player. He's the craziest person I've ever seen. Player. He just pops around and pops it up.
Yep.
On the run. Makes no sense.
Yep. So I think Curry healthy is definitely more valuable than Durant. And do we know what if Durant can get it done without Curry?
I know. We've seen Curry do it without Durant.
We have seen Curry do it without Durant. We have not seen Durant do it without Curry. And I don't want to hear, well, Durant's up 2-0 against the Spurs in the first round without Curry. That's not winning a championship.
I'm sorry. Jack. Being up 2-0 against a
right.
San Antonio team is not an accomplishment.
Jack, who would you rather have healthy, Durant or Curry?
I'm going to cheat because, of course, I'm going to cheat. It depends on what type of team I'm building, quite frankly. Although I agree with everything.
Right now, if you're the Warriors. If you're the
Warriors, then Curry. But the thing is, not every team runs offense like the Warriors.
I'm talking about the Warriors.
Yeah. And it has to be stated that when it gets to the playoffs, Curry's numbers get worse. They're not much worse, but it gets more difficult for him to isolate. He's not as good as Durant in isolation, bang, bang basketball. And I think in the finals, that becomes more and more important. Plus, there's a legitimate argument to be made that Durant's defense heavily outweighs Curry's. That's a legitimate argument. I mean, the guy is a center in a small forward's body. He can guard all 5 positions at this point relatively well. I mean,
he's not the best defender, but he's definitely better than Curry.
Exactly. If I were the Warriors, I'd still keep Curry because I think he's that important to that team. But I don't know. I really don't. If I were just playing pickup and I had any choice of NBA player and it was between those two, probably Durant if there's no offensive structure. But I think Curry is so special in certain ways that if you put a really good structure around him, like Golden State has, with a lot of cutting and movement and screening, he becomes that much more valuable to your team.
Quick thing. Do you think he's underrated, Curry?
Curry? Yeah.
I agree.
I feel like he's not even talked about anymore.
A unanimous MVP.
Players. Yes,
should be talked about.
When you hear about top players, it'll be LeBron, Durant, maybe Harden now, and then it's just Curry's not even talked about.
People put Giannis and Anthony Davis above Curry.
I think Curry's the second best player in the league behind LeBron. No.
Mm-hmm. I think I agree with that. Maybe.
Interesting take.
Who do you got, Jack? Where do you have Curry? Order. Where would you put Curry?
This is so hard. After LeBron, there's just 3 or 4 guys that you could just interchange, and it's mostly about preference. I would pick
AD.
Not AD, since I haven't seen him do it in deep later rounds in the playoffs yet. I would probably pick Kawhi.
Really?
Probably. Yeah.
Really?
Maybe not now. Okay, yeah, I need to clarify that. I keep doing this with injuries.
I'm not even thinking injury.
I'm thinking even remembering Kawhi before you.
Pre-injury, Kawhi, I just think he was that good.
Better than Curry?
I'm a major Kawhi fan, yeah.
Better than Curry.
I'm a fan of Leonard too, but I don't think he's better than Curry.
I think Kawhi is not just the offense; it's the defensive impact that he has.
Okay. I actually think Curry could be one. I don't actually. I think he could be better than LeBron. Actually,
I can't go there.
I'm gonna go there. Yeah,
I can't go there.
I can't either. That's
I think Curry's better than LeBron. Yeah.
Wow.
If I wanted to have one player to start a team, I'd pick Curry. He's just so dominant that
without injuries, right? Like if injuries weren't a thing in humanity.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess injuries would be.
But without injuries, nobody will ever get injured. You're taking Curry over LeBron.
Yeah, for sure. Then.
Wow. All right. Whew. So we all think Curry's underrated. Arhum really thinks he's underrated. He thinks he's the best player in the NBA right now. Let us know what you think in the comments. Tweet at us at Beyond Debatable. We'll be tweeting tomorrow during the games. Like this video and subscribe if you want to hear more from us. Arhum Malik, bringing the hot takes today. On the other side of the camera, it's Jack the Stat Man. Cut it. I'm Michael Rachel. And you've been listening to Beyond Debatable.